Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over Tropical Storm Karen. So Tropical Storm Karen is pretty much just formed, and it is at 40 miles an hour, and we do actually already have some tropical storm warnings in place. You can see we actually do have some tropical storm warnings in place for parts of the Lesser Antilles. Also, as we do move over here into this area, I'm not too sure what that's called, but you know where that is if you do. But you can definitely see where we do have those tropical storm warnings in place. And if we were to look, you can see we actually already do have some tropical storm watches in effect for Puerto Rico, as this does go through Puerto Rico. And then I will show you throughout this video where this is going. It actually is expected to turn towards the U.S., this isn't showing it, but you can see that slight left turn. They are not going out that far because they are not too sure yet, but I will be showing you that in this video. Okay, so here it is right now. You can see it's very disorganized. We do have a lot of that thunderstorm action though, which is not good to see because you can definitely tell this it's definitely, getting started, but you can definitely see how it's not put together at all, not very organized. But you can see how we do have that rotation, and we do have a lot of thunderstorms that are associated with this system. So this system is it's already pretty, it's not too put together, but it does have a lot of moisture with it. So it is bringing some impacts to parts of where we do have those tropical storm warnings. So if we were to look where this is going to go, you can see once again how I did say the National Hurricane Center saying it should go through the Caribbean where the conditions aren't as favorable, so not as much favorable conditions. The conditions usually this year they're not that favorable in the Caribbean, but you can see how it goes through Puerto Rico, possibly as a tropical storm, and then it keeps going north into more favorable conditions, and then it should turn sometime over here like this possibly, and it'd go into very favorable conditions. So that's kind of what that's going to be what we're looking at today. So if we were to go back, we're going to go ahead and look at some of the spaghetti models and seeing what they are thinking. You can see right here on the hurricane models, you can see how these do take that turn. These don't go too far out, but you can see they do take that turn that we were looking at. So they do end up taking that turn. All the models do, pretty much. And if we were to keep looking over here, you can see the GFS ensembles. You can see once this takes its turn, a lot of these models do stick together towards Florida. So anywhere in this general area, I would say could be affected. I would even bring it up here because you do have to remember a lot of times this year we thought it was going to go into Florida and then it takes that northern turn. So I think anywhere in here is fair game for to get hit by this system. So pretty much all the southeast coastline and the Gulf coastline we're going to have to be covering. But what I do get from this is if I was looking at this, you can see how it does go through the Caribbean, hits Puerto Rico, keeps going north, and then takes that western turn, and you can see how it just goes towards the U.S. So all we really do have to know is it is going towards the U.S., especially the southeastern U.S. So we're going to have to be watching this as it does take that turn. We're going to see how soon that takes its turn, how where it does go once that happens, how intense it is. So there's a lot to look at when it does come to this. If we were to look at the CMC ensembles or the GPS, you can see how you can definitely see how this does take that turn also. And you can see it's in this general area, so anywhere in the Gulf states or the southeast states. So it's that's kind of what this is saying. You can see there's a big broad area of where these are taking it. So we're gonna have to be watching over the next few days of where this is going to turn. Now, if we were to look at how strong this will be, you can see how when it's in the Caribbean, it's not really going to get much stronger. It will get a little bit stronger, but not much stronger. But you can see once it does get out of the Caribbean, some of them, a lot of them, I'd say at least 5 or 6 are taking it up. So we could get to a strong tropical storm or a Category 1, but that would be far from now. That'll probably be in like the next 5 days. We're even thinking about getting a hurricane. And you can see how a lot of them do keep it at this tropical storm strength for a while. Now, once it does get out of those unfavorable conditions, I do expect this to skyrocket possibly. If it does take a turn to the most favorable conditions, I do think that's possible. But you can see how we do have some models thinking a hurricane could be possible once it gets out of the Caribbean islands and out of those areas where it's not as favorable. So we definitely are expecting impacts past Puerto Rico. So that is my main concern with this, especially because the U.S. will be affected. If we were to look at the European model, this is one of many models. You can see there's Tropical Storm Jerry. I do want to cover this. Bermuda, you are going to get hit by this. It's going to be a tropical storm when it does hit. You can see the other day I was thinking that might happen, and it did end up happening. And you can see how this is possibly going to affect Bermuda. Some impacts will be there, but not as bad as we were thinking days ago, but we will definitely be seeing some impacts. Nothing too terrible. We really were spared, but I'm not thinking with Tropical Storm Karen we will be. So you can see here it is, Bridgetown, Kingstown, St. George, Port of Spain. And you can see here's Tropical Storm Karen, and you can see by tomorrow, let's go to tomorrow afternoon. You can see how this is moving pretty fast, and you can see how it's in the central eastern Caribbean towards west of the Lesser Antilles and south of Puerto Rico. You can see not too impressive. I think it's trying to get its act together. And you can see by your Tuesday morning, you can see how it's approaching Puerto Rico, starting to see those impacts. And you can see by your sometime Tuesday, probably Tuesday afternoon, it does affect eastern Puerto Rico and parts of the Lesser Antilles over here. And you can see this model does affect it pretty badly. It looks a little bit like Dorian, the way this is going. And you can see how it does go north pretty quickly. And then by your Wednesday, it's north of Puerto Rico, getting into those more favorable conditions. And you can see how this does get stronger once it does get there. And if we see how this does keep going north, and then you can see that western turn, and it keeps going west, and then it gets stronger and stronger. Then this has it going south. This is very complicated. This has it going somewhere in the Bahamas. You do have to remember this could go anywhere up here or down here or up here. We're going to have to watch out for that. We're going to have to watch throughout the next few days. And you can see how by your Monday it hits Cuba, which is not what a lot of the models were saying. We do actually have some that were saying that. And you can see how this will have it enter the Gulf. So once it enters the Gulf, that's going to be bad. So this is our worst case scenario. We do not want this. We want it to just go out to sea, which is not very likely at all. But I know this sounds terrible, but our best case scenario would be it makes landfall in Florida. But you do have I know that sounds bad, but if you were to think about it, that may be our only chance. And you can see once this gets out of Cuba, it has all the Gulf, and the Gulf has really favorable conditions, just really favorable conditions. So we're going to have to watch out, because that's just how it is. This could definitely change. This will change in the next model run. So you do have to remember it could go anywhere through here. So we are going to have to be watching. It can go anywhere in there. We're going to have to watch. And if we were to look at the GFS, you can see how the GFS, it's a little different, and you can see how it's not as put together. The GFS just isn't doing good this year, and you can see kind of there's the moisture. Somewhere is the moisture. There it is, and you can see how it does move west, and it's a little bit more north, but you can see how the moisture does enter the Gulf. And if we were to keep looking over at Tropical Tidbits, if we were to go ahead and look at Tropical Tidbits really quick, and if we were to look at that, you can see how this does have it. That is Jerry over here, and you can see how Karen comes right after it. You can kind of see it's going to be very small in this. Right here, you can see right here it is. And if we were to keep going, you can see how it does move west, and you can see how it goes through Florida, and then we get some moisture to come up, and it ends up in the Gulf. And you can see how this does enter the Gulf and cause impacts there. Very bad resolution. So we're going to have to be watching what this will do, because this is not this is very complicated. But right now this is our best guess. I really just did want to cover this today. But there's definitely a big possibility, and it's going to happen, that this does hit the northern Lesser Antilles in Puerto Rico. So we do definitely need to be watching out. And you can see, get ready, because this says it'll be at 40-mile-an-hour winds. But you can see once it gets north of Puerto Rico, it gets stronger at 50, and then 60, and then it gets up to 65. So you can see once it gets up here, it's already getting stronger. And then once it takes that turn, it'll keep getting stronger, and it could go anywhere here. It could go anywhere in between here. So that's what we're having to watch, because it's looking like this could be pretty catastrophic for the U.S. if it was to do this. I know it's very early to say this, but looking at this is a setup for a really bad storm. So I did want to go ahead and get this out pretty soon, just because this is just happening, and I did want to get it out. just to tell everyone what's going on, we're already seeing impacts for parts of the Caribbean already. I just really wanted to cover this, but if you are anywhere in the southeastern U.S., if you're in Puerto Rico, if you're anywhere there, be ready for a system to come, because this is what's happening. Tropical Storm Jerry, we do not need to worry about that in the U.S., but if we were to look, once again, Tropical Storm Karen, you can see a lot of the models do have it coming towards the U.S. Some take it out to sea, which is our best possibility, but probably not likely. A lot of them do end up taking that turn, you can see right here. And then some of them do keep going and then take it into the U.S. So the U.S., watch out. Puerto Rico, watch out. Other parts of the Caribbean where you are being affected, definitely do watch out. But I do hope everyone did enjoy today's video. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like down below. I will have a weekly forecast tomorrow morning, then a tropical update on this tomorrow afternoon. So once again, if you did like this video, whatever, consider subscribing and leaving a like down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.